Coming up on Cronkite News, how human trafficking organizations are raising awareness here in Arizona before the Super Bowl.
Plus, Latinos in Phoenix are contributing billions of dollars to the economy. What a new program is doing to uplift Latino-owned businesses.
And later, history will be made in Super Bowl 57 when two black quarterbacks take the field.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Maria Stobbs.
And I'm Connor McGill. Thank you for joining us.
As the Valley gears up for the Super Bowl, human trafficking becomes a topic of conversation.
I met with organizations that are bringing awareness to this issue. On a recent Saturday, community members gathered, putting labels on soap and makeup wipes. A small gesture with a lofty goal.
It gets frustrating on one hand because so many people still have no idea that this happens in America.
Each label with information on how to spot human trafficking and a phone number for those who may need help. It's the kind of information that would have been a lifeline when Teresa Flores was trafficked at 15.
And when they were finished with me, they took me back home and I would sneak back inside.
Flores spent 2 years trapped in a terrible cycle. Now she's using her experience to educate those in the community. The thousands of tourists who travel to Arizona for the Super Bowl make for a big audience for this education campaign.
We know that the traffickers are using this opportunity too to make more money and bring girls into the city to sell them. And so we're going to use the same opportunity to try and rescue them.
College student Anaya Glipsy came to this event with her aunt to learn more about human trafficking and what she could do to help.
It may not be helpful today, but it might be helpful for maybe a year or two from now.
The Soap Project distributed the labeled materials to 250 hotels across the Phoenix area, along with information on how to spot human trafficking.
We don't even know how many are being trafficked. That number is impossible to find out. And even if we just save one today, I'm okay with that.
Human trafficking remains a growing issue across the United States. According to the Arizona Attorney General's office, the average age of sex trafficking victims is between 13 and 15 years old. The National Trafficking Hotline reported in 2021 there were 651 human trafficking tips called in for Arizona, involving 217 cases and 337 victims.
I am a survivor. I am a mother. And I have a voice, and I'm here to stand up against human trafficking.
Similarly, at the age of 15, Alicia Tucker's life changed forever.
He set the bait, and I took it.
Tucker now calls herself a survivor, telling her story for the first time in a room full of executives from the tourism industry. Her hope, to show how a horrific experience can lead to a better path.
When you're in the trenches and when you're in that lifestyle, you think nobody cares. You think nobody loves you. You think no one is fighting for you, but they are.
By reaching out directly and indirectly, both Flores and Tucker hope they can leave a mark on those who hear their stories. In Phoenix, Connor McGill, Cronkite News. If you or someone who has been affected by human trafficking, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 to speak with an advocate any day and any time.
Preparations continue at State Farm Stadium for the field and the food. Cronkite sports reporter Sammy Miller is in Glendale with more on the oldest sod father on the crew and the stadium chef.
We are just days away until Super Bowl 57, and right behind me is State Farm Stadium, where there are hundreds of workers that are working so hard to make sure the field is in top-notch condition for both the Chiefs and the Eagles. But for one groundskeeper, George Toma, this isn't his first rodeo. He was a groundskeeper at the first ever Super Bowl in 1967 and has worked every single Super Bowl since.
In the early days, we didn't have sod like this. We had to get the field ready in 9 to 14 days with grass seed, and we did it.
On top of preparing the field, high-level chefs have put together a premier menu for fans to enjoy during the big game. Some of these creative items include the charcuterie sausage and pretzel board, the Navajo land fry bread avocado toast, and the AZ Big Dog.
It's also a chance to show off, so you want to be a little extra creative and make sure they leave with some memorable experiences and not just, hey, my team won, but the food was great as well.
Make sure to check out all of these different cuisines that are unique to the Valley, and whether it's in the kitchen or on the field, these groundskeepers and chefs are trying to make the best possible atmosphere for Super Bowl Sunday. In Glendale, Sammy Miller, Cronkite News.
That food and the field both look ready to impress a packed State Farm Stadium on Sunday. If you've been in downtown Phoenix this week, you may have noticed the different colored waste bins that have popped up. This is to help the city divert food waste and recyclables to the right place during the event leading up to the Super Bowl. There are thousands of people flocking to Arizona this week. The city of Phoenix has put up temporary bins for easier recycling and waste. Volunteers will man the bins and make sure the waste is separated properly by the community. They are also there to educate people on why the Zero Waste Initiative is important for the city. With their new composting facility, Phoenix hopes to hit 92% of their zero waste goal this year. Arizona only managed to hit about 73% of their goal during the 2015 Super Bowl.
In 2015, that was the first year the Super Bowl actually implemented a zero waste goal and our waste diversion goal. So the city of Phoenix set a new standard for sustainability goals for the Super Bowl and big events like that.
While these pop-up bins are only here for this week, the city of Phoenix will still have recyclable and waste bins in downtown. We'll see you in our Cronkite Sports Report. For now, let's send it back to you in the studio.
A new report indicates Latinos contributed billions of dollars to the Phoenix area economy. The report measures the region's fastest growing demographic group's cross-domestic product.
Cronkite News reporter Valeria Rodriguez tells us how Hispanic women in the Valley are having a lot of success in their small businesses.
Latino businesses contributed at least $65.1 billion to the Phoenix economy, according to the Metro Latino Gross Domestic Product 2023 report. Latinos are creating new businesses and spending money in Phoenix.
Latinos living in the Phoenix metro area represent a consumption market of over $44 billion. That's larger than the entire economy of the state of Wyoming. And they're making, Latinos are making contributions in all industry sectors.
Tessa Rangel, owner of Blessed Store Fashion Boutique, says it is important for Hispanics to start their business. She pushes to inspire women that are thinking of taking the leap of faith and starting their own businesses in Phoenix.
I know that things that we do, there is fear, but there is a string that you can jump easily. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter your age. We have people from 18 to 70, 80 years old. In this life, anything is possible.
Rangel and dozens of Mexican business owners recently graduated from the Consular Program of Entrepreneurship for Mexicans abroad in Phoenix. The program helps Mexican women have successful small businesses by equipping them with the adequate resources, from teaching them about sales projection to HR.
All this has impulsed them to make their business successful, and they are able to compete on the same level as other demographic groups.
According to the Datos 2022 report, 1 out of 4 small businesses in Phoenix are Hispanic, and Latinas own 7% of them. In the newsroom, Valeria Rodriguez, Cronkite News.
The Arizona State House debated on whether to override the aggregate expenditure limit on spending for Arizona schools. The limit, also called the AEL, was created in 1980 to limit the amount of money that the state spends on education. In recent years, the amount of money allocated to school is more than the AEL allows for, so both the state Senate and the House must vote on an override.
That's what this bill is about for me, making good on our promises, whether we were here to vote or not. This body promised money to our public district schools.
We can't continue to simply throw taxpayer money at a system that is failing our children by every metric. Our schools do not have a funding problem. They have a spending problem. And I can't in good conscience continue to vote to increase funding to a school system that is failing Arizona students year after year.
Despite reservations by many Republican lawmakers, the resolution passed the House 46-14. The Senate was also set to vote on the spending cap today, but canceled because a number of lawmakers were sick. In emergency situations, each second matters.
Now there's a new program that could cut down rescue time. After the break, what you should put outside of your house in case of an emergency.
Plus, we have updates on yesterday's qualifiers for the Waste Management Phoenix Open later on in the show.
There's Monday, September. Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
In emergency situations, every second counts. Alexia Stanbridge tells us about a new program that could help firefighters get into homes more quickly.
It's concerning. I know they would get in, but time's important.
Dave Cushney says he's fallen down and needed help many times at his home in Phoenix.
Some moments of anticipation and anxiety there.
The problem for the rescue team, getting into his house, which for Cushney, at least in one instance, led to a broken door. Now the city of Phoenix partnered with the Phoenix Realtors to pilot a lockbox program to help solve this issue.
Folks who are over 65 or who might have a disability could have a lockbox installed on their home that would have an extra key so that in an emergency situation, if they can't answer the door to let the fire department in, then the key is there.
The pilot program includes 100 lockboxes, and 22 of them were claimed just within the first 2 weeks. Phoenix Council member Ann O'Brien says similar programs already exist in Chandler and Scottsdale. If successful, Phoenix will look to expand the program.
It's pretty easy for us to install. It's a simple opening box. We trigger the mechanism to open up the hook.
Each box is locked on a hose bed for consistency. Besides a house key, the lockbox can also contain important medical information. Cushney was the first house to have the safety tool installed.
I'm really happy that they can get the key and they can just get right in. Time, that's very important.
In Phoenix, Alexia Stanbridge, Cronkite News.
Right now, lockboxes are only available in District 1, which includes the areas south of Northern Avenue and north of New River Road on the west side of Phoenix.
If you live in this area or are over 65 or are living with a disability, 60 lockboxes are still available. With the Waste Management Phoenix Open and the Super Bowl this week in Arizona, we're hoping the weather will be nice for all the visiting sporting fans.
Ariana Ariza has the forecast in our Weather Center.
Thank you, guys. We really are experiencing some nice weather out here in the valley. We're going to start around 6 p.m. today with 65 degrees. Some clouds are going to come in as it starts to cool down throughout the evening. We're going to hit 55 at 10 p.m. Still a little cold, so bring a jacket out when you take those dogs out. That leads us into our low temperatures tomorrow, 43 in Phoenix. Pretty cold up north, 12 in the Grand Canyon, 19 Flagstaff. Over here on the west side of the state, we're seeing a little warmer, 50 degrees Lake Havasu, 47 in Yuma. That'll warm up later on throughout the day with a high 70 in Phoenix, warming up north with 45 at the Grand Canyon, 47 Flagstaff. Over here on the west side of the state, we see nice weather, 71 Lake Havasu and a really nice 73 in Yuma. For our futurecast, some clouds are going to come through, pass through Arizona, leaving us with some clear sunny skies on Thursday. That is going to take us to our 8-day futurecast, where we are going to see those clouds on Wednesday, high 70, taking us into a little warmer state on Friday with a high 77, clear skies. Taking us into our Super Bowl weekend on Saturday, we do see some clouds, perfect for the WM Waste Management if you're attending, with a high 78 Saturday. Super Bowl day, high 70, clear skies. It's going to start to cool off a little starting next week with a high 64 on Wednesday. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Ariana Ariza.
I'm Nick Hogan. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Reports, including where Eagles fans can find that authentic Philly food item here in the Valley.
Phoenix is just beautiful today. Let's take a look at the weather around the valley.
Thank you for joining us for the special edition of Cronkite News. Here are the top stories that we're tracking today at noon. Some of the best players for their program.
Stream the best of PBS on any device with the PBS Video app. All your favorite drama, history, science, news, and documentaries, all in one place. Watch your PBS station live or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and locally produced shows from your station.
Sign in and start streaming today.
Now on Passport.
What are you looking for in your life?
There's an important story that needs to be told.
Is it a sense of your own destiny?
Choose your story.
Try to help create change in some way. It's a beautiful thing. Not very many people get to see.
Once you come into the neighborhood, you are a part of the family.
You can be a good person or a bad person. It's your choice.
Stop complaining and go actually do something.
Now you can stream even more documentaries with Passport on the PBS Video app.
At Sports Reports, I'm Nick Hogan. This year's Super Bowl between the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs will make history in more ways than one. It's the first time in history that two black quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, will start in the big game. Patrick Mahomes is already the third quarterback to win the Super Bowl, a title he nabbed when he won in 2020. If the Chiefs win, Mahomes will be the first black quarterback in NFL history to win multiple Super Bowls. And if Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts gets the trophy, he'll become the fourth black quarterback to win it. The significance of this moment is not lost on Mahomes.
Special, man, and I have a lot of respect for the guys that came before me and laid the foundation. Doug Williams, but there's so many other greats that battled to get that starting position, and so they gave me the position to be here, and to play against a guy like Jalen, a genuine great dude that worked his tail off to be in the position that he's in. It's going to be a special game and a special moment for a lot of kids to watch as they grow up and try to assume that role that we're trying to set the example for.
As Eagles fans flock to Arizona for Super Bowl 57, a small piece of the city of brotherly love is already here. Cronkite sports reporter Jackson Webster gives us a taste of Philadelphia.
Cheesesteaks, tasty cake, and water ice, not water ice, gives Eagles fans coming to Arizona plenty of food options for the Super Bowl. So if they want a taste of home or want to watch the Super Bowl with other Philly fans, there's some places around the valley to check out, starting with Joe's Italian Ice in Tempe.
We get our soft serve implemented all the way from Philadelphia. We get these massive shipments, and it's nice and thick and creamy ice cream. Philadelphia just has like its specialty known for their soft serve. It's just something magical about it that it's made with like magic.
If Eagles fans are looking to try a cheesesteak, Forefathers' 3 locations in Chandler, Scottsdale, and Tempe offer a taste close to home.
And so we're expecting to get a lot of those fans in. And when people try to compare us to back home, you know, I always tell them, look, we don't want to be as good as home is because we always want you to go back there, but we want to pull a second best.
If Eagles fans out in the Valley are looking for a party, 2 Valley locations will have you covered. Rock Bar here in Scottsdale and Phillies in Tempe will be the place to be for Eagles fans this Super Bowl.
Both are doing watch parties for the big game, and Phillies in Tempe will be hosting Eagles fan groups as well.
So Philly Sports Trips, yes, we do events with them regularly. They're coming out here Saturday the 11th. So they're doing a VIP party here from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday the 11th. It'll be packed house. They'll be providing a link here pretty soon for anyone that wants to sign up for that.
Opportunities for Eagles fans to watch the game or meet legends will be happening all around the Valley throughout the week leading up to kickoff on the 12th. In Phoenix, Jackson Webster, Cronkite Sports.
On Monday, around 100 golfers flooded McCormick Ranch Golf Club for the qualifier into the Waste Management Open. Out of all the participants playing for a spot, only 3 make the cut. There were numerous Scottsdale residents and Arizona natives playing in the field. When all was said and done, Andre Metzger from Scottsdale took home first place in the qualifier, posting a 7 under 65 on his round. This final round followed several qualifying stages for these golfers who had to cross more than one hurdle just to get there for the chance to play in the People's Open.
You can't just register straight into the Waste Management Phoenix Open qualifier unless you have some type of status with the PGA Tour or their affiliated tour. So we've run events all last week just to make it for people to advance to this spot.
Along with Metzger, Brett White from Texas and Dalton Ward from Georgia were the other 2 qualifiers. And finally, in Suns news, the NBA officially approved Matt Ishbia as the new owner of the team today. And more good news as Devin Booker is expected to return to the lineup tonight against the Nets. That's it for the Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Maria and Connor.
Coming up after the break, paying respects to African American culture and history.
But not in the way you might expect. We take a look at a new type of space art enthusiasts are gathering in honor of Black History Month.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Hello, I'm Adrienne Farewell, and I'm proud to serve as General Manager of Arizona PBS. From Phoenix to the Grand Canyon, Flagstaff to Prescott, and everywhere in between, this station is the best way to remain connected to all that's going on in our beautiful state. So whether you're interested in arts, culture, and music, to local politics and education, we've got you covered. You're watching Arizona PBS, and your Arizona connection starts right here.
That way the flavors will marry nicely.
Can you tell me what I'm looking at?
I'm not looking for love, I'm looking for cookies.
And there's still places to discover.
It just absorbs you.
You can make this at home if you can't find it.
I will continue to eat and drink until you get here. Get here fast.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, look at that. Oh, doesn't that look good?
We are going to be eating well.
It does work.
It does.
We got a happy little sky.
We're just getting started.
Welcome. How utterly charming.
Are you ready to get it going?
How does an English fan come to be Italian Riviera?
A fresh start.
Can I trust you? Are you ready for the show?
You can't be afraid to show them what you've got, what you want.
Are we having a party?
Of course, the more the merrier.
I love this place. It's my home now. Trouble in paradise. I can't do it on my own.
This is revenge.
There are consequences.
Be careful.
Nothing like this. this. Nothing like this.
You look like you need rescuing.
Don't we all?
What is it that you want?
I just want to let go.
I choose how I live.
There is the passion that I've been looking for.
With anticipation high for the Super Bowl in Phoenix, the big game's previous host stadium has a surprise of its own, an art gallery. Cronkite News reporter Cameron Dean joins us from Inglewood, California.
When you think about the Kinsey Collection, it is a traveling exhibition. It has been to many different cities around the world, but this is definitely a first of its kind for us here at SoFi Stadium, and a first of its kind for the Kinsey Collection to be housed in a stadium in the NFL.
The pieces in the Kinsey Collection are proof that African Americans have an expansive background in painting and artistry.
Here's a painting by an African American painter, Grafton Tyler Brown, 1899. So black people were painting in the 19th century successfully.
Amongst this collection of African American art is the Emancipation Proclamation, a document that allowed black Americans to fight in the Civil War for their freedom. Many documents like this are around this museum and keep the history of black Americans alive.
To be able to see that African Americans 100, 200, 300, 400 years ago built communities that created what we know as America today is important in present day generation, knowing that they're not starting over.
In addition to powerful art and artifacts that display the history of African Americans, this collection also has a section called Continuum, which features contemporary artists from Inglewood and greater Los Angeles.
This is called Barbershop by George Evans. This is actually a depiction of his father in the barber chair and his father's barber. They were best friends. And so this is a tribute to his father and that generation while speaking to something that is very important to black culture as well as black art in terms of these generational stories.
Continuum and the rest of the Kinsey Collection is a successful example of how art in common, non-traditional settings can reach and impact broader audiences.
I would love it if it was a normal thing where venues of all kinds had arts and culture experiences, looked at their walls as opportunities to engage and to impact instead of keeping them bare where people just pass by them and don't get anything from it.
This is America's history, so it was really important for us to display that and bring it to the culture here.
In Inglewood, California, with videographer Chimela Peter, I'm Cameron Dean, Cronkite News.
The Kinsey Collection will be on display through February for Black History Month.
Viewings of the exhibition are free with a tour of the stadium.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight.
Thank you for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.